Hey guys, what's up? Sermo11 here with my review of the OKKO Let's Be Heroes series finale. This was an hour-long finale if you watched the television broadcast. The episodes included in this finale were Dindy's video channel, Let's Fight to the End, and thank you for watching the show. I'll be going through each episode and giving some overall thoughts. Starting things off with Dindy's video channel, if you remember, Venomous and Shadowy Figure are the same person. I called that. Go check out the video. The proof is right there. Venomous and Shadowy Figure have fused and TKO has been unleashed. They're destroying the plaza. KO can't update his video channel, so Dindy is doing that for him. Dindy goes over everything that's happening in the plaza, and I like that her video is literally a war video. She's talking about all this stuff that's happening in the plaza, but she's releasing this in video format to the internet. It's just a very strange thing that I could see happening in real life, and I'm sure it's already happened, where someone's making a video while something's going on in their country, their town, their city, some sort of war or some sort of big fight. Also, telling people to like, comment, and subscribe was a good touch to include in that video, because it's something so serious, and then you switch over to wanting validation for the video. You want people to like, comment, and subscribe. I like that because that is a very realistic thing. Boxman stands up to Venomous and tells him to leave Boxmore. I like that Boxman was more into the silly back and forth classic villain behavior, whereas Venomous is just evil. I think some shows end up doing this where the first villain for the characters is a classic villain. They go back and forth, but at the end of the day they'll be allies. The second villain and any villain after that are more serious. So Boxman gets kicked out of Boxmore because Venomous owns most of the company. Boxman releases his robots and leaves to find inner peace. This part feels like it came out of nowhere, and it seems like this situation could have lasted longer. You'll know what I mean later on. Dindy tries to impersonate KO for Carol and Mr. Gar. This was a cute moment. Dindy tries to fight TKO and gets beat up immediately. It would have been cool if the fight went on longer to show how strong Dindy has become, but I guess they already did that with the Underground Maze episode, and also Dindy just can't handle TKO. Dindy inspires the Boxmore robots, and they fuse together, and they actually end up beating up TKO. A weird part of this episode and another rush moment is when the Boxmore robots become part of the plaza while the drama with TKO is going on. I feel like this was the wrong place for this information unless the TKO situation was going on for a long time. Moving on to Let's Fight to the End, the half-hour-long episode that was promoted, probably because it has the most action out of the finale. This episode has a tournament in it. The Plaza tournament is about to start, and KO is trying to find a way to get back in control of his body. It's always fun to have the main character as a villain, but it almost felt like KO wasn't really in the finale that much because the moments are inside of his head. He's not really interacting with the other characters. So I would have liked to see more of KO in this finale. At points, I felt like they made this show too casual with having things not making sense. The new president of the POW Cards company says that power levels don't matter. This is something else I predicted. Go check out the video. The proof is in the video. The Boxmore robots inform Rad, Enid, and Dindy of Venomous's plan, which makes Rad and Enid want to enter the tournament. The tournament was alright. It's one of those situations where the last fight is the only fight that matters. I think this would have been a great 5-episode special, maybe 3 episodes, but this show isn't really action oriented. At least not all the time. I wanted to mention that the president of the POW Card company, I thought her design was cute. I like the dog aspect and the voice and everything. So that was a cool character. The tournament shows off some of the old characters from the show, and that's about it. The full version of the intro is played, and it sounds like something from the 80s or 90s. I don't know eras. It sounds old. It was a good song. And the final fight is Enid and Rad versus TKO. Rad and Enid get beat up while KO is trying to search for a way to stop TKO. They kind of get knocked off into the stadium and go into the sewer well, and they encounter Fink, who gives them collars and glorps to go turbo. And I like that the news lady from the show was counting. She was counting from 1 to 10, and you'd expect her to stop at 10 since Rad and Enid were outside of the ring, but she kept counting. She kept going up. I think she makes it to 35, and she goes past that and everything. And it's just kind of funny. She's still counting, while they're getting help and everything. So that was a funny moment for me. Rad and Enid transform into their turbo forms, and this was the best action in the finale. The action is more dynamic. We see the characters using their powers in different ways. The issue is that the fight doesn't last that long at all. Venomous brings out the Glorb tree, and TKO powers up with all the Glorbs, and he starts draining power from everyone. My issue with the finale is that Mr. Gar and Carol don't really do anything. I think Carol being upset and trying to talk to her son, and maybe saying something like, "You've gone too far, looks like I have to step in and discipline my boy," I think that would have been cool. Carol versus TKO would have been a crazy fight. And Mr. Gar, I believe he was being portrayed as the strongest person in the plaza, if I remember correctly, so why didn't he fight TKO? They just tried to show him love, and they failed. Boxman returns, and he works with the robots to fight TKO. This moment was cool, but it felt too fast. If Boxman was going to leave, he should have been gone for a while. But with the show being canceled, that's not possible, and I understand that, but it was just kind of strange. For a while, it looked like Boxman, the robots, and Dindy had died because TKO hit them into the sun. The Plaza people start to cheer, making TKO's control waver, and Venomous upsets TKO, but TKO hits Venomous and knocks Shadowy Figure out of him and kills him. The next moment was very interesting because TKO is about to attack Venomous, but Fink gets in the way and gets blasted. He then proceeds to blast Venomous. At first, I thought he killed both of them, and everyone was going to have to take him out immediately because he just killed 2 people. But I'm pretty sure he did kill Fink and Venomous. I think he killed Boxman and the robots and Dindy as well. And I'll kind of get into that later. KO finds an old recording from his childhood of Carol singing, and it's playing while TKO is killing everyone. KO apologizes to TKO, and they fuse into one being for good. And you want to know why I think TKO killed everyone? They're not around once the true version of KO, or just KO, returns to the real world. Once he returns to control of his body, there's no one around. The plaza's empty. So then the president of the universe appears, and KO gets a wish for winning the tournament, and he wishes everyone to live their best lives. Things got very Dragon Ball-like towards the end. It kind of feels like those wishes at the end of Dragon Ball, at the end of the arcs, to undo everything that the villain's done. It felt exactly like that situation. So everyone's wished back to life. KO asked for an explanation about the Glorbs, and it's not really a good explanation. The reasoning behind the Glorbs and, what they can do and all that is basically, this is a cartoon. The Glorbs allow the characters to have powers, and they allow them to do the silly cartoon movements. So if you get squished, if you get stretched, nothing happens to you, that's because of the Glorbs. That's kind of what I'm talking about, not taking the show too seriously. Wasn't really a fan of that reasoning. KO starts monologuing, and the series ends. At least you think it in there, but there's one more episode. Thank you for watching the show. That's not the end of the video. Please don't leave. The final episode of OKKO is different, and with how it goes, I can't cover everything, nor do I want to. I'll cover a few things. If you've seen the episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This episode almost feels like an episode after the series finale, because it's like the characters are in more of a period of peace, seemingly. It's almost like they've kind of gone back to before all the venomous stuff happened. The basic idea of the episode is that life is flashing past KO's eyes and he's starting to forget what's going on in his life. There are a lot of episode titles in this episode. I'm guessing some of these are episode ideas that they didn't get to do. I didn't like the episode titles because I had to pause and rewind this episode constantly. They show a lot of titles and they do it fast. They don't give you enough time to read them. So that was an issue for me. It seemed like they had more crossover episodes planned as Garnet appears and Zach from the Secret Saturdays appears as well. KO talks to Red Action about how he feels like he's accelerating through time, and as you know, Red Action is from the future, so she has all this futuristic technology, she can see what's going on, and there's some interesting episodes in this mix. Enid wants to go to Wizard College and Rad is going to lead the Space Force on his planet. Carol is getting married to Mr. Gar, and Carol tells KO that when you're young, it feels like you have all the time in the world, and when you grow up, life moves too quickly. And this is a really depressing message, but it's so real. Why would you make an episode like this? It's too realistic. But the overall point is just to enjoy life while you can. Experience those moments when you can, and just enjoy life. One thing that I didn't like was that KO was growing up during the episode, and they didn't show his appearance until the end. Time had passed since Enid went to college and Rad went to lead the Space Force, and they both came back to the bodega. Enid comments on how KO got taller. KO has a birthday where he's 13 to 17 now. Rad is growing facial hair and Dindy has longer hair. Mr. Gar and Carol seem like they were going to have a baby, but the baby ended up being pancakes. I do think that's an interesting plot line to have Mr. Gar and Carol have a child and KO having a little brother or a little sister. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Dindy graduates from high school. KO turns 18 to 24. It's kind of weird that KO wasn't shown at the graduation ceremony. I don't know if he's there, but I don't believe he was. Unless from our perspective, that was KO watching Dindy. Carol has short hair. Mr. Gar is wearing a cap now, so he's probably balding. Enid has shorter hair. Rad grew his hair out, and he has a beard. Dindy is getting greener. KO then turns 35 plus, and everyone looks different once again. The final mini episode in this episode is a new robot destroying the plaza. I believe this is a new robot. And KO is coming to assist the bodega men like Mr. Gar did in the past. I will say that I didn't like KO's new design as an adult. They basically made him into Mr. Gar. I know it's just a cartoon, but I would have done that differently. I probably wouldn't have made him as muscular. Probably would have made him skinnier and everything. But it's their show. They can do whatever they want. Overall, the finale was good. They did a great job with the time that they had. They introduced the elements that they needed to for the finale, while also doing a few random episodes here and there. I would have made the tournament and really TKO destroying the plaza their own arcs, or at least have them last for a longer bit of episodes. I would have put more action into the tournament and maybe introduce someone that can actually make TKO struggle, or have a character in the show unleash a hidden power trying to take down TKO. Those are all interesting things they could have done. The last episode was depressing. KO is getting older and life is flashing before his eyes. I'm pretty sure they put in some of their actual episode ideas into this episode. It's pretty cool that I was able to call things in the show like Venomous being Laser Blast and Shadowy Figure, even though they made it painfully obvious. Power levels not mattering was also something I called. I liked that Boxman was essentially a mix of video game villains such as Bowser, Eggman, and Dr. Wily. You can see those references in his character. The show had some good episodes, and still my favorite episodes are when we switched focus to Enid for a few episodes. That was really cool. You don't really see that in cartoons, so I thought that was really unique. That's more of a anime thing to do, to switch focus from the main character for a while. I think OKKO was a show that did what it wanted. Sometimes the side characters are given focus for an episode. They do random faces and references. The power levels don't matter. They just created a show that they wanted to. It's just a cartoon that celebrates cartoons. I'm not sure why OKKO was canceled. Outside of Cartoon Network not really airing or promoting the show, I don't know what happened. Someone tried to blame Cartoon Network, and Ian came to defense of them. Perhaps this was to keep his job, or there was another reason. He made it seem like there was another reason for the show being canceled, but he refused to say it and said that he might say it in the future. But what could be the reasoning for the show getting canceled? Was it toy sales? Was no one watching? What's really going on here? Did Cartoon Network not want to focus on shows like this anymore? I don't know what reason could be casual enough for him to reveal it, but big enough to be kept secret. It sucks that OKKO was canceled, but that's life. Perhaps Ian can return to Steven Universe or create another show if he wants. Whatever he does in the future, I support it. You did a good job with OKKO, and I'm sorry that it didn't catch on seemingly. I wish you the best, and thank you for creating this awesome show. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you like my content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. The links are below. I'm Surmo11. See you next time, and peace out.